Alright folks, now that the next vid has been recorded, now we move forward. Yoko Shania died September the 4th, 2020. Age at death, 76. Cause of death, murder. Location, Saitama, Japan. Disability, a chronic disease. Miss Shania's son strangled her as she lay in her hospital bed. Hospital staff saw him trying to kill her and intervened, but she had been badly hurt and died hours later. Her son told the police he couldn't bear watching and wanted to make her comfortable. Perpetrator, Akira Shania's son, arrested for suspicion of attempted murder. Nancy Arnold died September the 5th, 2020. Age at death, 78. Cause of death, murder. Location, Scottsdale, Arizona, USA. Disability, unspecified, wheelchair user. Nancy's brother fatally shot her, then tried to kill himself. Her brother recovered from his injuries, but Nancy died at the scene. Perpetrator, William Loquet, brother, charged with first-degree murder. Fetlun Wong died September the 5th, 2020. Age at death, 21. Cause of death, murder. Location, Hong Kong, China. Disability, intellectual disability. Fetlun's mother strangled him with a plastic tablecloth. Fetlun was a student at Suizhen Tong School, a residential care home for children with intellectual disabilities. At age 21, he had just grown too old to stay there. Perpetrator, Zhu Ping-chin, mother, arrested on suspicion of murder. Unknown woman died September the 10th, 2020. Age at death, elder. Cause of death, murder. Location, Taoyuan City, Taiwan. Stroke, paralysis. This woman was in the hospital for a urinary tract infection when her husband smothered her. She died 5 days afterward. Perpetrator, Zaiwan Liang, husband charged with murder. Pauline Lankford died September the 15th, 2020. Age at death, 87. Cause of death, neglect. Location, Blythe, Georgia, USA. Disability, dementia. Pauline's family left her sitting on a chair in the living room. They did not feed her, bathe her, or give her medication. She died from dehydration, malnutrition, and multiple infected pressure sores. Clifton Brady, son-in-law, charged with neglect of a disabled adult. Cynthia Brady, daughter. 3-year-old girl, name unknown, died September the 20th, 2020. Age at death, 3. Cause of death, murder. Location, Sheriff's Village, Uasin Gishu County, Kenya. Disability, unspecified. This 3-year-old girl was killed by her parents, who had before then been locking her in the house alone. They said they killed her because she was a nuisance and to save their love. Perpetrator, Charity Chiruto, mother. Timoth Lahanya, father, both charged with murder. R. Divarahu died October the 10th, 2020. Age at death, 59. Cause of death, murder. Location, Kampung Baru Sungai Chua, Selangor, Malaysia. Disability, blind. R. Divarahu was murdered by his wife and his wife's brother, who hit him on the head with a hammer and then claimed that he had been killed by a burglar. The two wanted to inherit his assets. He owned a scrap metal transportation business. Perpetrator, Anglia, Dewi, and Vijaya, charged with murder. Mahalakshmi, died October the 17th, 2020. Age at death, 7. Cause of death, murder. Location, Chhatrapati, Tamil Nadu, India. Disability, paralysis, unspecified, non-speaking, mobility impaired. Mahalakshmi's father smothered her because having to take care of her made it difficult for him and his wife to go to work. Perpetuator, Pilan Kumar, father accused of murder. "12-year-old girl, name unknown, died October the 17th, 2020, age at death 12. Cause of death, murder. Location, Moti Bakar, Datiwanda Tehsil, Gujarat, India. Disability, death. This 12-year-old girl was raped and murdered by her cousin. Perpetrator, Nitin Mali cousin, arrested on suspicion of murder. Saeed Nielsen, died October the 23rd, 2020. Age at death, 14. Cause of death, abuse. Location, Nashville, Tennessee, USA. Disability, autism. Saeed's stepbrother punched and kicked him in the head. His mother told his stepbrother to stop, but then walked away without actually checking to make sure he had stopped. When Saeed died, they claimed he had fallen in a shower, but his injuries were inconsistent with a fall. Saeed loved Star Wars and Halloween. He never missed a day walking his dog Chloe, rain or shine. Perpetrator, Rebecca Greenwood, mother. David Matheny, stepbrother, charged with criminal homicide, aggravated child abuse, and evidence tampering. Adrian White, October the 23rd, 2020. Age at death, 43. Cause of death, murder-suicide. Location, Jefferson County, Alabama, USA. Disability, leukemia, in remission. Adrian was shot by her fiancé in a murder-suicide. She lived with her fiancé and her father, who has dementia, and helped care for him. She was the youngest of 12 siblings. Her family remembers her as a caretaker and a jokester. She was a University of Alabama graduate who worked as a systems analyst. Her father survived the murder-suicide unharmed and was hospitalized for observation. "46-year-old man, name unknown, died October the 28th, 2020. Cause of death, neglect. Location, Racine, Wisconsin, USA. Disability, TBI, and physical injuries from childhood motor vehicle accident. This 46-year-old man lived with his mother who cared for him. When he fell, she did not call for help. Instead, she dragged him to the bathroom and waited for days without calling for help. Concerned family members had been unable to reach him or his mother and finally asked the police to do a welfare check. He was found dead on his bathroom floor and his mother was arrested. She said she didn't want to take him to the hospital even though she knew he probably had broken bones and wanted him to die a peaceful death. Cheryl Christensen, mother, charged with negligently subject an individual at risk to abuse causing death, obstructing an officer, and disorderly conduct. Vincent Avellino, died November 2nd, 2020. Age at death, 83. Cause of death, infection. Location, Ronshaw, Pennsylvania, USA. Disability, dementia. Vincent died because he developed a massive pressure sore that ultimately killed him. Reportedly, he had been left in place in his chair for over a month. His wife, with whom he lived, was trained as a home health aide. Home health aides, like Vincent's wife, are trained in bed sore prevention and taught how dangerous it is not to move a patient for extended periods of time. Vincent was a retired factory worker who loved the outdoors. He liked hunting, fishing, crabbing, mushroom, and berry picking, and grew a garden. He was a good baker and winemaker. He liked antiques and going to yard sales and collected coins. He loved long car rides and milkshakes. He had 9 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. Case status. Deborah Avellino, wife, charged with involuntary manslaughter and neglect. Jamarian Delancey, died November the 18th, 2020. Age at death, 5. Cause of death, internal injuries. Location, St. Louis, Missouri, USA. Disability, blind, developmental disability, used leg braces. Jamarian's mother was at the hospital having a baby. She left Jamarian and his big sister with her boyfriend. The following day, Jamarian was brought to the hospital unconscious and bleeding internally. He died hours later. Police arrested Jamarian's mother's boyfriend. He's accused of fatally beating Jamarian while his 7-year-old sister watched. Joshua Dallas, mother's boyfriend, charged with abuse or neglect of a child causing death and unlawful possession of a firearm. Thomas Grudel, died November the 20th, 2020. Age at death, elder. Cause of death, blunt force trauma. Location, Wilmington, North Carolina, USA. Disability, unspecified, confined to a bed. Thomas is charged with beating him to death as he lay in his bed. Case status, Flynn Thomas Grudel's son, charged with first-degree murder. Eric Smithson, age of death, 54. Disability, unspecified, special needs. Name, Eric Russell Smithson, 78. Chronic illness, frail elder. Died November the 24th, 2020. Cause of death, shooting. Eric and his son William lived with his wife. Authorities concluded that Eric's wife shot and killed her husband and son and then killed herself. Joyce Lorraine Smithson died by suicide. William Smith and Eric Smithson. I think I just read this to you. Yeah. 5-year-old girl. Died December the 30th, 2020. Age at death, 5. Cause of death, untreated ruptured intestine due to blunt force trauma. Location, Kampung, Sungai, Sensin, Gombek, Malaysia. Disability, hydrocephalus, mobility impaired. This 5-year-old girl's grandaunt is charged with killing her by kicking her in the stomach repeatedly and causing intestinal rupture, which untreated proved fatal. Her father is charged with neglecting her by not taking her to a doctor when she was severely injured. Ipsuma Ambo, grandaunt, charged with murder. Rosa Iskander Mardi, charged with child neglect. Saburo Sato, died December the 30th, 2020. Age at death, 73. Cause of death, injuries from assault. Location, Yokohama, Kanagawa Prefecture, Japan. Disability, dementia. Mr. Sato's son is accused of beating him in the head and stomach. Police say he admitted to the charge, saying that he had lost patience with his father due to dementia. When Mr. Sato lost consciousness, his son called for emergency services, but he was declared dead at the hospital. Case status, Sachi Sato arrested on suspicion of murder. That concludes the names. Again, you can find this on disabilitymemorial.org. Folks, I had to literally do 4 parts to cover all the names of the victims of filicide. 4 parts, 17 minutes each. If you can't understand by all the names I have read and the stories that I told that there is a undiscussed problem in regards to the abuse, murder, and torture of people with disabilities and the elderly, you need to have your head examined. Each year I read this list. Every day I get reports of another one lost. These are my brothers and sisters. These are grandparents and siblings. And their lives matter too. And they are not talked about. I don't want to make this about what I usually cover, but there are folks that are celebrities that could have easily been part of that list. There's one in particular that I'm thinking of, who just barely got out of a situation like many I have mentioned. I need folks to pay attention. I need people to share, and I need people to admit that there's a problem and start coming up with solutions, because I am tired of seeing the lists of our dead and their names never been mentioned. Alright folks, this concludes our 4 parts on the Disability Day of Mourning. I would appreciate it if you all could light a candle, say a prayer, or send healing vibes to those who are missing these individuals. I appreciate your time and patience today, and I hope you have a good one. Goodbye.